Okay, hey guys, it's Lacey here. I am excited to talk to you a little bit about customer service at the Sage testing site. So, I don't know if you remember my customer service training at the beginning of the school year. I think that's when it was. But this is kind of customer service part two, and this is dealing with students. I love this quote I found by Ronald Reagan. Love Ronald Reagan. He said, "We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone." And I want you to think about that going into Sage testing. I want you to think, I can't help all of these kids, but I can make a few of these kids, a handful of these kids feel very comfortable and safe and happy to be here and excited to take this test. And if we each do that, then I am confident we're going to reach all of these kids. So I want to talk a little bit about ideas to keep your students happy at testing. This is a big deal, guys. We are working so hard this year. Our administration is working hard. Everyone's working hard to make sure that our students have a good experience. Okay, so the first thing, greet each and every student and learning coach who enter your testing site. Now, this is not just the job of the person who's checking people in. Okay, that is their job, but when you get there, you should be roaming. You should be out. I know in years past there's kind of a line of kids who are checking in. Teachers should be walking up and down that line, talking to learning coaches, introducing themselves, finding out what grade these students are in. Those of you, in K-8, we are already doing grade level testing, but make sure you put a name to a face, okay? I want you to be strategic. So before you go into the testing site, know who is going to be doing that. Know who's going to be sitting down, checking kids in, who's going to be texting and calling kids who don't show up, and who's going to be roaming around talking and greeting people. We want them to come in right away and feel comfortable. One other idea I have for you is to get some students who would help you do this. So maybe the first 2 or 3 students who show up say, "Hey, I need you guys to be my helpers. I need you to help me walk up and down and say hi to these kids." And you might have to facilitate that depending on their grade and how comfortable they are. But that would be a great way to get them involved. Make sure you're using the student's name. Okay, it is so hard to show up, even a student you've met at a grade level outing or at Capital Day or whatever, back to school night, and remember exactly their face. So don't be afraid to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I know your face. Remind me who you are." And then put a name tag on those kids so that you can call them by their name throughout the entire day and the next day. You can get cheap name tags from the dollar store. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. Make sure someone is assigned to bring the name tags. Make sure if you forget a student's name, you say, "I'm so sorry. Remind me your name again." Don't be afraid to admit that you don't know. Everybody forgets names. Last year, my daughter came home from Sage testing and said, "Mom, I love Sage testing. It is the very best." And I was like, "What? What did you say?" She's like, "I love it. I love Sage testing." And I said, "What do you love about it?" "Well, my teacher brought gum. We can choose any flavor of gum, and we can get a new piece whenever we want." So last year in St. George at the testing site, we brought gum. We brought every kind of gum that we could find at Target. It was not very expensive, but the kids loved it. Every time they had a break, they would raise their hand, or after the test, they would get a fresh piece of gum. And it made such a big difference. I'm not kidding. They were so much happier. I'm so much happier when I have a good taste in my mouth. So assign somebody from your group to pick up the gum, okay? Stay off your phone, your computer. This is not a time to do work. Jessica did a whole training on this. Please don't Instagram. I know it's so tempting to just do it when you have nothing else going on, but let the students know, make it really clear to them that they are the priority, and that that day, those days you're at testing, is all about them. This is an idea, I think it was Jenny Wilson last year. Was it you, Jenny, who brought a diffuser? Now, some of the essential oil scents are too strong, but lavender or maybe orange or a citrus, something really light, diffuse something that smells good in the room. We know that when we get 35, 45 kids in one room, it starts to smell like 35 kids are in one room, right? But if you would diffuse something light, make it smell good, not strong enough to make anybody feel uncomfortable or nauseous or sick. A light smell to make the classroom smell good and put those kids in a good mood. The gum actually did that too for us last year. Get the students up and moving every 45 minutes that's the longest they should ever go sitting. Schedule the breaks, write it up on the board so they know, hey, I've got 10 more minutes to work and then I get to play, bingo or whatever it is. Do something fun, be silly, laugh together, play together, get their blood pumping. Another idea I had was to have them repeat affirmations. So you can have everybody stand up together, take a deep breath. I am calm, I am confident, I can do this. Okay? Make sure that each teacher in your group, in your grade level, is assigned something to bring or to do for testing so that this doesn't all fall on just one person. So, okay, Lacey, why do we need all these fun and interactive breaks during SAGE testing? I found this cool study about students who sit for long periods of time and students who get up and take a break. And their brains are so much more engaged and able to think critically than students who are just sitting for long periods of time. Don't be afraid to take them outside. Take them outside, let them take a deep breath. Um, find 5 cool things. You could do a nature scavenger hunt. These things don't have to take long. You can just spend 3 or 4 minutes doing something to give their brains and their bodies a break from testing. These are going to be long days. We know they are. So let's do everything we can to prepare for that. So I'm going to send you guys, when I send out this recording, these slides. I have a ton of fun activities that don't require very many supplies. Maybe like a light ball or some paper. There's just a few supplies if you decide to do those activities. Some don't require any supplies at all. So you can go through these different activities on your own time and decide which ones you're going to do. Now, I've designed these activities to just take 1 or 2 minutes. So really, you could say, okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break. Everybody stand up, get a fresh piece of gum. We are going to do silent ball for 2 minutes, all right? It doesn't have to take a long time. We want the focus to be testing, but we do want to give them the opportunity to have some breaks. So I'm going to send all these activities out for you. In addition to this PowerPoint, so you can read through those activities, I'm going to have 2 PDFs I'm going to attach. One are these fitness cards. You can print them out, cut them up, and then you can randomly have a kid pull a fitness card. Okay, he pulled octopus. We're going to play octopus for 4 minutes. Okay, these are things to get them up and going. We know that physical exercise, getting their hearts pumping, getting the blood pumping, is going to help their brains. Okay, here's another one I'm going to attach, fitness bingo. So you can print these out. Each kid gets a bingo card, and then you call out activities. All right, you're going to want to have little prizes. You're going to want to have treats, maybe pencils, things for kids who can't have treats to give away as prizes for some of these. So get with your grade level team, the teachers you are testing with, and come up with a plan. Which of these things you want to implement, what will work best for you, who's going to bring what, who's going to print what, and be in charge of what, okay? The last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to do this really quickly, how to handle a student who's anxious or struggling. So most of us have done this for several years. We know that there's always going to be a few, usually they're 3rd graders, but not always. Sometimes they're older kids who are anxious, they're nervous, they're struggling. These are some ideas that I had. I did talk to a counselor about a few of these and things that we've done in the past to help them feel more comfortable. Number 1, take them outside. Fresh air, short walk, drink break, fresh piece of gum, snack, okay? Let them get out of the testing room for a few minutes to voice their concerns. Once they do voice those concerns, be a reflective listener, okay? And most of us know what that is, but if you don't, somebody shares with you their concern. You repeat it back to them, okay? You repeat it back so that they know you understand what those feelings are. You say to them something like, Ben, it sounds like you're frustrated that the math questions are too difficult. Is that how you're feeling? It could be something like, hey, Sarah, it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because you can hear a kid next to you who's typing a lot faster than you are. Does that sound about how you're feeling? You want to help them label those feelings so that they know how they're feeling, and then you can move forward in addressing those feelings and get through them together. You can follow up with something like, hey, your feelings make sense to me. I can understand why you'd feel that way. Let's see if we can get through this together. Remind them that these tests do not affect their grade, their ability to move on to the next grade, their status at our school. These tests are just for our information. And I think this is a huge misunderstanding, especially for some of the younger kids who have not, or some of the kids who have never taken these tests before. Make sure you reassure them that these tests are not going to affect them in any way, but that they still need to do a good job and work hard, because that it does affect us, our teachers, our school. Ask them about something they like to do. Get them talking about their interests, things that they love, and try to find a connection, something you have in common with them. Ask them this is something I do with my own kids. Okay, they come to me with something they're upset or anxious about, and I say to them, because nobody wants someone just like spouting out advice without being asked. So I'll say to my kids, hey, do you want me to give you some ideas of what other sixth grade students might do who are uncomfortable with this or who don't know the answer? Do you want me to give you some ideas of how other kids might handle this situation? And every time my own kids are like, yeah, I do. Yeah, please tell me what other kids would do. And then you can help them brainstorm some ways to solve their frustrations or their concerns. You could bribe them. Just say, hey, if you'll work hard for 20 more minutes, you can be the first one to choose one of our activity cards. Or you can decide which game we're going to play at the break. Or you can be the first one to choose a treat or pass out the gum or whatever it is that you think they might want to help you participate with. Stay positive and be patient with these kids. You know, sometimes we have kids who just really struggle. Other kids, they're going to get done fast. They're going to want something to do. We need to be prepared with things for them when they are finished, or things for them if they are struggling. If you guys have any questions about any of these things we've talked about or want to discuss them further, please contact me. I want you to remember, this is my all-time favorite quote. I know I've shared it with you before. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James said that. It is so true. We can be a positive, a light for them at testing. I was on the phone with a student the other day and I could hear in the background the mom yelling and using really vulgar language. And I thought, you know what, this kid's going to show up at testing and his teachers are going to be there for him. They're going to be kind and positive, and it might be the best part of his day. Now, that's not every one of our students, but we certainly do have some of those students who are going to show up to testing to see you, to hear your voice, to be around you, to feel the effects of your positivity. And I hope that you will take this opportunity to make this a good experience for them. You know, no matter what happens this year with their results, we can be an influence and a light in their life. And I want to thank you for all of your hard work. I know that this testing season feels a little bit crazy. We are doing something we've never done before. I want to thank you for thinking outside the box, for jumping outside the box and being willing to work hard and do your part. So thank you. Good luck at testing. Please let me know if you need more ideas, more resources, or if you want to chat about anything we've talked about here today. Thanks, guys.